Hi, and welcome back to Old School Blues Guitar. It is time for the instrumental lesson for the months of October through December 2020. And this will be the first of my last batch of lessons for this godforsaken year of 2020. Anyway, I'm going to go back to an instrumental that I taught several years ago, Freddie King's The Stumble. And I've realized over the last few years that when I first taught this, I really didn't know how to play a few parts of this, or at least I taught them wrong. And by wrong, I mean not according to the original recording, which is always my goal. And part of this channel and part of my video, the purpose of my videos is to try to get some help figuring out these songs. Bought a new program called Transcribe, and it allows me to take any MP3 and slow down any song. So it's great for trying to figure out songs note for note. So what I'm going to do here is take you back through the stumble, and I'm going to just kind of do a quick flyover, pointing out the different parts that I think I taught the wrong way when I did this lesson before. And I have the complete tab, which I'm going to post here and make available to you. And this, to the best of my ability, is the stumble tabbed out note for note. Now there was one part of it that I had trouble figuring out how to tab, and I'll explain that when I get to it. But for the most part, you can go through my tab, listen to the original, and figure this song out. But I'll do a video here too to help you through, and at least share what I think I've figured out here. Let's start with verse 1. The chords I have laid out on a chord sheet for you. That's part of the tab, so you can check this out. And I think whenever you do an instrumental or any song, you should know the chord progression so you know what's being played over which chords. That's important, especially for a song like this where he does a lot of playing over the chord shapes. All right, let's kick off. The very first verse of the stumble starts out like this. Right there is the first part of the song that I think I taught wrong the first time. What I'm doing here is sliding into an E 7th chord. When I taught this the first time, I thought it was a 9th chord, like that, and the more I listen to Freddie King, the more I figure out that he doesn't use those 9ths. He uses a B 7th shape. So if you make a B 7th chord, and then move it to the 7th fret with your first finger on the 6th fret of the 4th string. That's the shape Freddie King uses for those 7th chords. Also, when he leads into that, he's going to go from here, slide into that chord from one step above. But listening to it with Transcribe, I hear an open, like a quick strum of open string before he leads into that. Something like that. Check the tab and you'll see what I mean. So we got this. And that's part that I think I taught wrong. And then he goes into this. And again, when he plays those two vamps, he's playing an A 7th. I thought he played a 9th, but it's a 7th. And he chokes it off. I think he just lets up with his left hand and then strums those pretty hard. But he's using that same chord shape that we used here, just moving it here, an A 7th. So, like that. Then he goes into the part over the B. Now here's something else I think I taught wrong. He's playing over the first position B chord shape. That part I think I got right, but right here, he's using a partial B 7th, really just two notes, the 9th fret, 8th fret of the 3rd string, and the 9th fret of the 4th string. And what I think he's doing now is getting the 4th string, and then moving it down a step, getting both the 4th and the 3rd strings, and then coming back to the 4th string on the 9th fret, and then he slides out of it. I don't think I taught that. That's a little subtlety that is definitely audible when you listen to it slowed down. So that's the first part of verse 1, and those are the little things that I noticed when I went through it again. And then he goes to the first stop time, and he leads into that. And that takes us to the sliding double stops. I think I got that part right. Check the tab, and I have it tabbed out exactly. And he does this. And that part, I can't remember if I taught that right or not. He's going. One thing I think I noticed is that he slides in to the 4th fret, 3rd and 1st strings. All these double stops are played on the 3rd and the 1st strings. So that's the first time through. I'm picking using the flat pick and my bare 2nd finger. Freddie King used a thumb pick and a finger pick on his 1st finger. But this is the way I do it. So we got that, and then the second time through, something like that. That little part right there, I think I taught wrong. I think he goes, and then right here, he's going to slide on the 3rd string, just the 3rd string, 4th to the 2nd, and then pull off to the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So we got this. Like that. I think I taught it something like this. That's not what he's doing. It's more like that. And then the open 1st string. So that whole thing. Then he's going to wrap up that first turnaround lick just on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. It's like an E7. So that is verse 1 all the way through. And the main thing there is the use of those B7 shaped chords. That's definitely different. And a couple other little subtle details that I missed the first time through. So that's verse 1 revisited. Verse number 2, I think for the most part I got right, but I'm just going to play through it slowly, and we'll talk about anything that catches my ear here. So he starts out the 2nd verse. Then he comes to the stop time, and he's going to do one of these 3 times, and he's going to bend. Something like that. The second time he plays this. All that is the same as the first time. And then right here, you hear the B7th lick. So you could just put your 1 finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, get the open 2nd string, and that's what he does. The first time he did that, he played something like that, and then the second time, and that's how he wraps up the 2nd verse. This thing, he plays exactly the same as he did the first time. So that's about it. This bend here, what I couldn't figure out with the tab, and maybe somebody out there can help me with this, is how do you tab when you're bending a string and you're picking it while you're bending? Freddie King does that a lot, and I don't know how to tab that. I know I can kind of do it when I do it by hand, but I'm using Guitar Pro 7, and I have yet to figure out how to do that. Still working on it. So check the tab for verse 2, got it note for note, and let's move on to verse 3. Verse number 3 of the Stumble is when he gets into kind of the solo licks. He starts out like this. part I taught wrong the first time, and I'm not going to try to explain how because I'll just confuse you. Check the tab for that. So he starts out, then he bends the second string at the 8th fret, something like that. And the slide out downwards, he does that a lot throughout the stumble, and I don't think I mentioned that, and I don't think I taught that the first time. And it's kind of boring if you just play the notes without any embellishment. And Freddie King, if you listen, especially when I slowed it down, I noticed his embellishing of notes a lot more, and that's what makes, you know, really good guitar players sound really good, is they don't just play the notes, they do something with it to make it sound soulful. So he does that. Now here's a part that I know I taught wrong the first time because I didn't catch this. He starts out over the 4, and then he holds it 1, 2, 3, 4. Plays something like that. He's getting that note, 5th fret of the 1st string twice. Check the tab, see how he plays that. I taught that wrong the first time. 3, 4. And he's playing that. I've seen some guys play it down here at the 1st and 2nd fret, but when I listen to it, I hear a real thick bass note sound, and I think the only place you could play that is going between the 5th and the 7th frets of the 6th string. And then he goes to, instead of a stop time, he's going to play this double stop. Like that. Check the tab. I think I got that right the first time. Then he comes back with something like that. And that's how he wraps up verse number 3. I don't think I messed up anything in there. When I play over the 4 shape, the A, I can't remember if I taught this, but that note right there, the 8th fret of the 2nd string, whenever Freddie King plays over that shape, he uses that note. And then with open strings, gets himself back down to the 1st position. So check the tab, listen to the original, and that's another place where I don't think I taught it correctly the first time. So that is the end of verse number 3. Verse number 4 of the stumble, he starts out with that double stop lick, something like that. Check the tabs for those bends and this lick. One mistake I know I made the first time I taught it is I always thought he'd do this bend from the 8th fret of the 2nd string to the 7th fret of the 1st string, and then do that little descending phrase. But if you listen carefully, he bends the 2nd string and goes right to this. And he plays the notes differently than the way I taught him the first time. I tabbed it out note for note, so I've got it exactly right. Then he does this. So let's do the whole thing. Comes back. Something like that, where he ends on the up bend. And now, that little lick there, I hear an open 3rd string. I did not teach this the first time. And then he slides out like that. So when he comes in to the 4, I taught that incorrectly the first time. Then he comes back to this. And now we we go to one of the coolest parts of the song. He's going to lead into this. This part I taught wrong too. I always thought I heard it double stop. So we got this. Something like that, or with the double stop. But listening to it slowly, I do not hear a double stop. I just hear the 12th fret of the 3rd string. He slides into it. So the 14th fret of the 4th string. Something like that. Then he goes into these bends. Then right there, 2 bends. Slides out right there. So check the tab. I think I didn't teach this right, the bends. You got to keep the time, and then I counted out. He bends 6 times, and then on the 7th he holds it, so it's like that. Check the tab. I've got it note for note this time. Got it right. Then he comes into this and slides out, and that is the end of verse number 4. Verse number 5, we're going to go back to this. Doing a pull-off there. And that's a subtlety that I don't know if I taught the first time around. Check the tab to see what he does with each verse, and then we got this. Right there, when he does the 5th verse, he's going to keep the double stop, not just pick the 4th string. When he wraps that up, check the tab. And then we go into this, picks twice for the stop, and then he's going to go right to the bend. And then into the double stop. So check the tab. I think I got this wrong the first time. It's a quick 2 strokes, two notes, and then right into the bend. And he bends that 3rd string at the 14th fret. He's just walking down the 1st position blues box in E. Now here's a part that I definitely got wrong the first time. He's going to go back into one of these slides. He's going to do it again. So instead of this, that part stays the same. That's what he does the first time. But here in the 5th verse, goes to that twice, and then just an open third string, hammers on 1st fret, and that. And then he does something else different. So let's do that one more time. Like that. And then we got this. And then he just stops there. He doesn't do or. He just leaves that open, and you'll see why here in just a minute. So that is verse 5. So let's do that. Actually, let's not do that all the way through. Let's just notice the parts that are different. The bend here. Check the timing out on that twice, and then right into the bend. How far he bends it and exactly where he lets go, then bends up again. You're going to have to listen to the original recording to get that just right. I don't know if I played that just right or pretty close. The same idea. He starts the bend. Then he starts to let it go. And then he bends it back up again. He's controlling that bend. It's really cool. So that's something else that I had trouble figuring out how to tab. So for this part, you really got to listen to the original. And then at the end of that verse, again, he's going to do the, and then just stop. Now leading into the last verse, he's going to go to this lick again, but he heads into it differently. He's going to slide from the 9th to the 11th and let it pause. Just let it kind of hang there. Then again. And then right here, I hear him going from the 9th fret to the 7th fret before he goes into that. So we got this before he's going from the 9th fret of the 4th string. The last verse, verse 6, I hear him going like that. It's a very subtle difference, but that's what Freddie King's playing. So he's got this. And then the last stop time of the song, which will take us into the end. So we got this. He's going to go to the 14th fret of the 4th string, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we got this. Check the tab on that. I think I taught that wrong the first time. Right here, he's going to go back to the 15th fret of the 6th string and then hammer on 12th to 14th on the 5th string. I know I missed that the first time. And then that little lick there, he's going to go 12th fret, 13th fret on the 3rd string, and then 12th fret, 2nd string, 12th fret, 1st string. I think I may have missed that the first time through. That part's a little tricky where he bends. And he kind of picks as he lets go of the bend, as he releases. Check the tab, listen to the original, something like this. And then we get ready for the last double stop slide. He does something like that at the end. He just hammers on the 1st fret of the 3rd string. And that's something I did not teach the first time. And then the end tag, I know I got wrong the first time. He's going to do this. That's the lick. Open 1st string, 3rd fret, 2nd string, slide to the 4th fret of the 3rd string, that's 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Check the tab, and then I think I hear an open 1st string. You could also do it like this, where you end up on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. It's funny, sometimes I listen to it and I hear that, sometimes I hear the 4th string. Can't explain that. And then the very last chord thing he does, this is something very subtle and very different. I hear an open 5th string, and then one of those chord slides. So the whole end tag. That open 5th, that's something I never heard before. I only noticed it when I slowed the song down using the transcribe program. So that is a quick overview of the stumble. I did the lesson before. What I would do is, if you want to go back through this song, take the tab that I have for you and go verse by verse and see, how to play it, see how you play it. You can use my lesson here to help you. If you watch my original lesson, I go back in more detail, but again, I get a lot of stuff wrong. And you could go back and watch that lesson and then use the new tab I'm not sure what the best way to proceed is. I am going to do a complete version of the Stumble lesson for my new Udemy series, the Instrumentals of Freddie King Volume 2. And I will make the first lesson, which is the Stumble, I'll put that on YouTube for free, just to make up for how badly I botched it the first time through. Anyway, that is the instrumental lesson for October through December 2020. I'll be back in the new year, hopefully, with a new instrumental lesson. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know. And once again, what I try to do is teach or figure out these songs note for note from the original recording. Not so much with the intention of playing it that way, but just learning some different tricks and things you can do on the guitar in different keys. And Freddie King's The Stumble has a lot of great ideas in it. So, alrighty, I'll see you again in January or February. See you then.